Shape of it. The relentless, freezing rain hammers violently against the windshield. You are driving deep into the isolated...
You slide the heavy wooden door open with a loud, echoing groan.
Her bony, trembling fingers slide an ancient, rusted metal key across the scratched wooden counter.
You unlock the sliding door to your room. You drop your heavy bags onto the floor, rubbing your exhausted eyes. You desperately try to convince your... Every single step you take causes the ancient wooden floorboards to violently. You slide the rusted metal latch shut, locking yourself inside. You sing. You reach your hand out toward the plastic dispenser attached to the wooden wall. You sigh heavily in deep frustration, reaching forward to unlock the door.
A massive, heavy, dark shadow silently glides across the dirty...
Your entire nervous system shuts down in pure terror. You pull your legs up, desperately holding your breath. The dead silence is violently shattered by a deep, smooth, incredibly chilling male...
Do you want red paper? Or do you want blue paper? Your mind violently connects the horrific dots.
The legend describes a tall, terrifying male spirit wearing a flowing, blood-red cloak and a
He is a supernatural sadist. He forces you into a completely unwinnable scenario. He demands...
Blue! If you think you can outsmart him, the entity will violently strangle you.
Back in the freezing bathroom, the Manto entity leans his masked face directly against the thin wooden door.
You are standing on the very edge of the abyss.
Rule number 2. Never attempt to outsmart the demon by choosing a completely different color like yellow or green. Many have tried this.
If you choose a different color, the floor beneath you will open up and dozens of pale...
You must deliver the only acceptable, neutral response that shatters his cognitive loop.
I do not need any paper. You shout clearly and firmly into the freezing dark. I do not need any paper!
The heavy, dark shadow on the stall door violently recoils.
The freezing temperature instantly lifts. You hear the heavy, frustrated footsteps of the Manto rapidly walking away.
You violently unlock the rusted metal latch and burst out of the claustrophobic stall into the flickering green light.
You sprint desperately back down the hall.
As your breathing slowly begins to steady, you look up into the dark room. Your blood freezes instantly.
You lock the door to keep the monsters out. But in a haunted Ryokan, you never know if the true horror is already...
You stand completely frozen in the center of the dark tatami room.
Driven by an inescapable morbid compulsion, you slowly walk the closet.
Your shaking fingers grab the cold edge of the wooden sliding door. The scratching sound stops the exact moment you touch the wood.
You slide the heavy wooden door open slowly. You quickly pull out your phone, turning on the bright flashlight to pierce the deep shadows. Demons. Your heavy travel bags are sitting in the corner, but they have been violently torn open. Your clothes and personal belongings are sitting perfectly upright in the exact center of your ruined belongings is a traditional Japanese Ichimatsu doll. The doll's dark, glass eyes reflect the harsh white light. Its black hair is unnaturally...
The room temperature instantly plummets to a freezing sub-zero chill.
You collapse heavily to your knees, entirely trapped in the center of the Terra supernatural circle.
The game is Kagome Kagome. For centuries, in the living world, a Hispanic child is blindfolded in the center, while others run rapidly in a circle, singing a haunting...
They must guess exactly who is standing directly behind them.
The terrifying flashback ends. The ghost children in your room suddenly...
You squeeze your eyes tightly shut, completely overwhelmed by the dizzying, spinning shadow.
Kagome, Kagome, the bird in the cage!
When will it come out?
The crane and turtle slipped. Who is directly behind you now?
You are kneeling in the dark.
Rule number 2. You must answer with a paradox that breaks their cognitive trap.
Take a deep, agonizing breath and speak this exact phrase clearly.
There is absolutely no one behind me. I am entirely alone. You must whisper firmly and confidently. There is...
The circle of ghostly children rapidly fades away into the paper walls, completely vanishing from the tatami room. You finally open your eyes. You are completely exhausted, staring at the empty, quiet room, illuminated... But as you step into the corridor, you realize the nightmare is escalating. The dark hallway stretches infinitely.
You run frantically down the endless hallway, desperately searching for the main lobby. But the... Stop running, panting heavily.
Friends, you push the glass door open with all your remaining strength, stepping out into the pouring, freezing rain of the court.
The courtyard is a massive, beautiful, but deeply eerie, traditional Japanese rock garden.
You stand helplessly in the freezing mud. In the exact center of the dark garden sits a...
The relentless rain continues to pour. Suddenly, a terrifyingly loud splash echoes from deep.
You slowly back away, your eyes locked entirely on the dark edge of the stone well. Centuries ago, she was brutally murdered and thrown down a well over a missing porcelain plate.
1, 2, 3. Your eyes widen in absolute horror as you remember the fatal legend. She is endlessly counting to 10.
The dark, heavy courtyard begins to physically shake as the entity counts significantly louder.
She slowly steps much closer to you, raising her dripping.
This is the absolute climax of Okiku's horrific curse.
Rule number 1. You must entirely override your paralyzing fear.
Just as the entity opens her terrifying mouth to scream in agony over the missing plate, you must shout directly at her at the absolute top of your lungs. 10.
You scream the word 10 with every ounce of your remaining human strength. The word pierces the heavy.
She slowly turns her dripping body around, letting out a long, haunting sigh of... Her pale, scarred hands release the cold stone edge. She slides completely... You force yourself to stand up. Through the pouring rain, you spot a faint, warm yellow light glowing. You carefully slide the delicate paper door open and step inside. The new hallway is
The exact moment you step fully inside, the sliding paper door violently slams shut directly behind you.
You turn back around. The brightly lit hallway stretches endlessly forward into infinity.
You begin walking cautiously down the repetitive wooden corridor.
Suddenly, a frail Japanese old man steps out slowly from one of the identical rooms. He wears...
A desperate, overwhelming surge of pure hope completely floods your chest. A living human being.
The Japanese old man completely ignores your frantic panic. He slowly raises a pale, trembling finger.
The main exit is at the absolute bottom of the stairs.
You bow slightly in desperate thanks and rapidly walk toward the exact direction he pointed.
But as you walk away, a cold dread hits you. You look back quickly over your shoulder. You realize something is horrifically, fundamentally wrong with the old man sweeping the floor behind you. The hallway is brightly illuminated by dozens of glowing lanterns. But the sweeping old man casts absolute... He suddenly stops sweeping completely. With a sickening, loud crack, his neck
You scream at the top of your lungs and sprint wildly down the infinite hallway in absolute, blinding terror.
The endless hallway abruptly ends at a massive, incredibly steep, dark wooden staircase. The survival protocol for navigating a cursed liminal space is completely counterintuitive.
You stare down directly into the terrifying, dark abyss of the steep wooden staircase.
Rule number 1. Fiercely reject the path given to you by the dead. You slowly back...
Rule number 2. Trust your touch, never terrified eyes.
Enticed. You slide your trembling hands slowly along the delicate paper, entirely ignoring the visual illusion of...
You push the hidden seamly with all your remaining physical strength.
The narrow, dusty secret passage ends abruptly at a heavy, ancient iron door. It is completely covered in... You desperately pull the ancient, rusted number 4 key from your pocket. The key given by the terrifying old woman.
Click. The massive rusted padlock clicks loudly and opens successfully. You
run blindly out a door.
You push violently through the thick, sharp underbrush. The heavy, relentless rain completely soaks your clothes, turning them into freezing, heavy weights.
Your lungs are burning in absolute agony. You are forced to stop and catch your breath.
As you pant heavily in the dark, a thick, incredibly strong, sticky white thread.
You look up slowly into the dark canopy. Sitting elegantly high.
The beautiful woman smiles down softly at you in the dark forest. Her eyes glow. But while your mind is completely hypnotized by the music, the thick, sticky white thread on your
Suddenly, a loud crack of thunder shatters the hypnotic illusion completely.
This is Jorogumo, the ancient binding spider.
You scream at the top of your lungs, violently trying to rip the incredibly thick, sticky spider silk from your trapped, fiercely struggling right arm.
The creature's massive, sharp, venomous fangs are dripping a highly toxic, glowing green venom in the dark. It does not kill quickly. The survival protocol for Jorogumo is entirely based on You dive desperately into the dark, thick bushes just as the massive spider lunged at the empty tree trunk.
You hit the bottom of the hill heavily. You are completely covered in freezing mud, bleeding from deep.
You slowly, painfully force yourself to stand up. Your exhausted eyes struggle fiercely to see.
Through the dense, terrifying fog, a small, severely dilapidated, ancient wooden hut slowly appears.
You limp slowly toward the small wooden hut.
You push the small wooden door open slowly. Inside, a seemingly kind smile.
The soup is incredibly comforting, but as you finish the bowl, your eyes begin to slowly close.
As your vision violently blurs.
The Yama-uba is a demonic mountain hag from ancient Japanese folklore. She takes the form of a kind old woman. You have been poisoned by supernatural means. Your physical body is entirely shutting down.
You gasp loudly in pure pain, the sharp shock violently snapping your heavy eyes wide open.
Rule number 2. Fire is the ultimate deterrent. You reach forward and desperately grab a burning piece of wood directly from the small fire with your bare, trembling hand.
You burst violently back out into the freezing, pouring rain, running quickly away from the screaming hut. You stumble blindly through the dark, massive forest. The supernatural poison is still...
The massive, terrifying entity slowly reaches down with incredible po.
It is the sound of absolute, undeniable death. You stand completely frozen on the narrow dirt path. Click. Click. You take a slow, terrified step backward, trying to remain completely silent. But your heavy boots crunch loudly The clicking sound suddenly stops. Out of the corner of your eye, you see a pale, unnaturally...
A tall, incredibly thin silhouette steps out onto the dirt path directly ahead of you. The figure stands perfectly still in the dim fading light. As the moonlight breaks through the canopy, the entity's pale face comes into sharp view.
You hold your breath, your eyes widening in absolute, paralyzing disbelief.
The entity slowly raises its incredibly long, pale hands, holding them directly in front of its smooth...
Embedded in the exact center of each pale palm is a large, hyper-realistic...
Pure, unadulterated terror takes over your entire nervous system.
The entity runs with its arms outstretched. The glowing yellow eyes on its palms sweep back and forth like...
You lie completely flat on the freezing dirt, covering your mouth with both hands. You are sweating heavily.
Crunch.
The tall, faceless entity stands completely silently in the pale moonlight. It sweeps its arm.
The dust under the floorboards fills your lungs. You tremble violently, fighting an overwhelming, terrifying urge.
The Tenome senses something. It slowly drops to its bony knees in the dirt, bringing its terrible seeing hands much closer. The pale hand slowly reaches directly into the dark crawl space. The glowing yellow eye blinks, searching the shadows.
You shut your eyes completely tight, hot tears streaming down your terrified face. You are...
Where did this horrific nightmare come from? Centuries ago, an innocent, blind old man was walking... As he lay dying in the dirt, his empty eye sockets crying blood, he screamed in pure...
The dark spiritual forces of the forest answered his desperate, dying wish. His soul mutated into a vengeful...
The Tenome has locked onto your location. It is about to drag you out of the shadows. Rule number 1. The entity hunts by sight and sound, but it is easily confused. You must immediately feel around blindly in the dirt for a heavy stone or a broken branch. Rule number 2. Throw the object as hard as humanly possible, aiming far into the distant bushes behind the creature. Do not throw it directly at the entity, or it will attack. The Tenome reacts instantly. It violently snaps its hands away from your face.
This is your only window of survival. You must use this exact split second of distraction to crawl backward out from under the...
You burst through the final layer of thick bamboo, collapsing onto the...
You look back at the dark, terrifying wall of trees. The clicking sound is entirely gone.
We live our lives fully trusting our senses. We rely on our eyes to tell us what is safe, and we rely on our ears to warn us of approaching danger. But in the deep, ancient shadows of the world, because if you hear the clicking in the dark, the eyes are already watching you.
You walk onto the empty concrete platform, shivering violently in your soaked, muddy clothes.
At the far end of the dark platform, an old, glowing green payphone booth. You reach into your muddy coat pocket and pull out a single, cold, silver 100-yen coin. The silver coin drops into the metal slot with a loud mechanical clink. You pick up the heavy plastic receiver.
The normal dial tone completely cuts out, instantly replaced by a heavy, unnatural static hiss.
I am Satoru-kun. I am currently at the Dark Mountain Road.
You drop the receiver in pure shock! The plastic cord swings violently in the dark. Satoru-kun is a demonic entity that uses communication lines to relentlessly track his victims.
This is the absolute climax of the Satoru-kun trap.
Rule number 2. He will grant you one single answer to any question of us.
What is the exact color of my soul?
You keep your eyes locked entirely forward and whisper firmly. The entity pauses completely. The freezing temperature instantly lifts. The heavy, dark presence vanishes completely from behind your back.
You fall to your knees on the cold concrete, crying in pure, overwhelming relief.
Suddenly, a blinding white light pierces the thick, dark fog. The deafening, blaring sounds. You look up in sheer disbelief. An incredibly old, heavily rusted train slowly pulls into... The interior of the dark train car is chilling. The seats are faded red velvet.
Completely.
The ghostly train accelerates rapidly, plunging directly into a pitch-black mountain tunnel. You sit completely frozen on the faded velvet seat. You watch the dark, terrifying, unnatural landscape.
You look up. The digital display above the train door glitches wildly. Instead of showing the next station name, it displays... The heavy metal doors slide open completely silently. You step out onto the cold platform. A rusted, ancient...
You look desperately at your wristwatch. The hands have completely stopped moving.
the absolute silence is suddenly broken. You hear the distant, terrifyingly rhythmic sound of a...
You look down the tracks. A terrifying one-legged old Japanese mare hopping direct...
Pure survival instinct completely takes over. You turn around and sprint violently out of the station, running desperately down the dark train tracks. You plunge into the pitch-black tunnel. You trip repeatedly on the heavy wooden railway ties, bruising your knees on the cold...
You finally reach the end of the long tunnel. Miraculously, a friendly-looking Jap is standing next to a running car. The car drives smoothly down the dark mountain road, but suddenly, the friendly stranger completely stops talking.
You look at the driver in absolute horror. He is slowly turning his head toward you.
You are trapped in a speeding vehicle driven by a malevolent entity. Your only option is to jump.
Gasping for air. You slowly stand up, rubbing your bruised arms. The desolate...
A morbid, fatal curiosity completely takes over your mind. You take a slow step forward.
Stop immediately. This is the Kunekune an entity, Lokun.
The survival protocol is instantaneous. You must violently force your eyes tightly shut.
Those who understand the Kunekune instantly go completely insane. They spend the rest of their short lives laughing
You turn around and sprint completely blindly through the tall, sharp grass. You keep your eyes tightly closed.
You trip heavily on a solid, hard surface, scraping your knees. You finally open your eyes.
Looming massively in the heavy gray fog just ahead of you is a severely abandoned means. The old, wooden shoe lockers are covered in decades of thick, undisturbed dust and dark, terrifying.
You walk incredibly slowly down the main corridor. You are completely surrounded by empty, pitch-black classrooms. The ghostly song plays slowly. The distorted, overlapping voices whisper the terrifying lyrics.
The song is a literal warning. You sprint frantically up the dark, cracked concrete stairs, your heart
You dive desperately under a large, heavy wooden lab desk in the far corner. You curl your body into a tight, trembling ball.
The room is incredibly dark. On the dusty shelf directly above your head, a cracked glass jar contains... The distorted, terrifying on the PA system suddenly violently cuts out.
Thud. Drag. 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 Heavy, incredibly slow.
You press your trembling body harder against the cold concrete wall under the heavy desk. You are...
Bang!
A sudden, massive, terrifying impact violently hits.
From your terrified vantage point under the desk, you watch a pair of completely charred, blackened, skeletal feet slowly step directly into the room. This is a highly aggressive, burnt yokai, born from a tragic historic school fire.
You tightly pinch your nose, desperately holding your breath. The charred, blackened skeletal feet stop moving. A thick drop of boiling, dark, liquid ash slowly falls from the terrifying entity's body. Your face turns completely purple. You are holding your breath to the absolute physical breaking point. You violently press your entire body backward against the cold concrete wall.
The terrifying entity screeches in high-pitched, demonic frustration.
I will find you.
You survived the thermal hazard. You slowly let out a trembling, agonizing breath.
You wait in the suffocating darkness for what feels like an eternity. You must reach the first floor to escape. You creep slowly down the cracked concrete
The rusted public address speakers violently crackle again.
A terrifying, massive, hunched silhouette suddenly manifests directly in front of...
Let's play Daruma-san ga koronda! You have just been forced into the most...
The survival protocol is absolutely rigid.
The massive entity begins to violently chant, "Daruma-san ga koronda!" You sprint frantically down the red corridor. The chant abruptly stops. The massive entity's head snaps 180 degrees backwards.
You freeze instantly mid-stride, balancing awkwardly on one foot. Your entire body shakes in absolute
The entity stares directly at you in the bloody red light. If it detects even the slightest physical vibration, the creature slowly turns its grotesque head back toward the glass doors.
Your lungs burn in pure agony.
The chanting suddenly cuts out much faster this time. The horrific head snaps around instantly. You can't. Your right arm violently sways slightly in the air. The entity immediately notices the tiny movement.
The rules have been broken.
Absolute panic consumes you. But you remember a highly specific death loophole in the ancient game.
The demon shrieks in high-pitched, enraged disbelief. It raises a massive, pale hand covered in razor-sharp...
You drop to the ground, violently sliding across the smooth, dusty concrete floor, completely dodging the massive, deadly swipe. You reach out desperately. Your bare, trembling hand violently slaps against the freezing, dead skin of the... You violently scream, "Kitta!" which means cut in the traditional game.
The massive entity instantly turns into a rigid, paralyzed stone statue. You scramble desperately away from its terrifying legs and violently push the heavy glass exit doors open.
You collapse entirely onto the wet, overgrown grass outside the school gates. You slowly force yourself to stand up. You begin walking down a dark
needle. Through the dense, freezing fog ahead, you spot the faint, warm glow of a small, traditional Japanese roadside.
You kneel before the small, weathered stone statue, desperately seeking spiritual protection.
The warm candlelight flickers violently as you stare at the small stone face.
The old red fabric bib tied around its neck suddenly becomes soaking wet, slowly dripping thick, dark crimson liquid.
Out of the thick fog, a tall, incredibly elegant Japanese woman holding a traditional...
She wears a beautiful, pristine white kimono that drags elegantly through the mud without ever getting dirty.
Are you lost in the cold night, child? This is a predatory deception.
Red paper umbrella.
The Hona screeches with a deafening, bone-rattling cry.
You dodged the horrific attack by a fraction of an inch, scrambling violently backward.
The terrifying sound of clicking bones rapidly chases you through the dark.
You rush onto the violently swaying bridge. The heavy wooden planks groan loudly under your weight. Below you, the black, churning river. But your relief is violently cut short. The freezing rain suddenly intensifies, becoming an absolutely blinding terrain.
A thick, unnatural greatly consumes the swaying suspension.
She slowly raises her pale, soaking wet face, her eyes are completely black.
The wooden planks beneath your feet begin to rot and splinter instantly. The supernatural rain is rapidly decaying.
The Ame-ona.
Rule number 1. Never feel pity for the entity.
Rule number 2. You must project absolute, burning rage. You scream at her, violently rejecting her sorrow. The pure, aggressive human anger complicit.
The heavy, unnatural rain instantly stops. You quickly cross the remainder of the rotting wooden bridge.
Suddenly, the heavy, blinding fog rolls in again. From the deep darkness of the empty road, two massive The heavy folding doors slide open completely silently. The interior of the bus is completely dark.
A tall, terrifyingly pale Japanese driver wearing an old dark uniform turns his head slowly.
The demonic driver stares directly at your freezing body. She does not speak. She simply gestures slowly.
The black screen returning with stark, bold white text read.
You must completely ignore the vehicle. You stare straight ahead into the fog, pretending the massive, terrifying bus is...
The driver waits patiently. The heavy, freezing air inside the bus violently tries to pull you inside. The demonic driver finally realizes you cannot be tricked.
You freeze completely.
A large, pale, completely deformed, mutated face slowly pushes through the dark leaves.
Leave me alone, or I will completely eat your exhausted, dying heart right now!
Your sanity is hanging by a single, microscopic thread.
You are entirely trapped in a massive, open-air rural nightmare. Every single step you take in the dark countryside brings you closer to the absolute edge of total human madness.
Your body is failing. You collapse violently into a small, dilapidated roadside.
You peek out from the dark, muddy ditch. The Jinmenken is sniffing the ground with its horrifyingly human-like nose. It looks exactly like...
You seize the opportunity to escape. You sprint toward a faint, flickering light in the distance.
You stand in the center of the village. It is perfectly, unnaturally clean. There is...
You knock frantically on a house door. It swings open easily, but inside is only a cold...
You find an old, yellow and nude newspaper on the 1964.
The shadows of the village begin to stretch and warp. Hundreds of tall, pale silhouettes begin to materialize. The survival protocol for the village of Sugisawa-mura is psychological. Rule number 1. Obscure your humanity. You violently tie your coat hood tightly over your face, effectively hiding your features. A headless villager blocks your path, holding out a wooden bowl filled with a dark, viscous, oily liquid. But you take the bowl with trembling hands. You pretend to drink, but you secretly spill the thick, oily liquid onto the dried. The headless villager nods slowly and steps aside, completely satisfied by your performance.
You reach the edge of the village. The main, open road glows under the moonlight. Suddenly, a massive, spectral, ancient gate appears, blocking the road entirely.
You refuse to yield. You stare at the gate with pure, burning rage, refusing to give even a My blood belongs only to the living! You scream at the gate with absolute conviction. The spectral gate cracks! The gate shatters into blinding white light. The village of Sugisawa-mura dissolves into smoke.
You land heavily on the real, dark asphalt road. You are exhausted, bleeding, and shattered.
You walk slowly toward the city lights. You are alive.
A faint, distant, demonic growl of the Jinmenken echoes one last time from the darkness behind you.
You finally arrive at your doorstep. You unlock your apartment door with shaking, desperate hands. You step inside, lock the door, and collapse on the floor in absolute relief. You are finally home.
You look down. A single, dark, wet, muddy footprint sits on your clean apartment floor near the kitchen. You lock the kitchen door and begin to scan the dark rooms. Every shadow, every corner, every single object in your house is now a potential hiding place. There is no end to the Yokai Archives. There is only the constant, eternal, and exhausting state of...
Your eyes have seen the void. Your ears have heard the screams.
You turn off all the lights. You leave your apartment in absolute darkness.
We leave you now, in the silence of your own home. Remember...
The distant sound of a traditional taiko drum beats slowly in the silence of your mind.
You look at your mirror one last time. Your face is obscured by a dark,
The darkness is satisfied, but only for now. Soon, the cycle of the night will begin again.
We are already inside.
Never open your doors to the shadows. Never answer the voices in the fog.
Sleep with the lights on. They are waiting for you, and they never, ever forget.
The walls of your apartment are peeling away like dead skin. You reach out to touch the ancient records. Your fingers turn translucent, slowly blending.
The pale, wrinkled hands of the old woman from the Ryokan appear from the dark. She closes the... Your apartment vanishes entirely. You are now drifting in a void of endless floating...
You stand perfectly still, a faceless entity in the eternal library.
The sound of a heavy, iron-bound book being pulled from a shelf echoes through the void.
Your blank, featureless face turns toward the sound of the approaching victim.
A single, glowing red eye opens on your blank, smooth face.
The new victim walks cautiously through the floating lanterns. He looks exactly as you did. He is looking...
You step out of the deep shadows. Your movements are jerky.
The man turns around. His eyes widen in pure, absolute terror. He tries to scream. You reach out with skeletal, pale fingers. You are the archive, and you must claim the next entry.
The lanterns dim, plunging the scene into suffocating, primal dark.
Back in the real world, a curious young Hispanic male student sits in a modern library. He finds an old, dusty book. He is completely unaware of the shadow looming silently behind him. The book is not just paper and ink. He hears it. A faint, rhythmic clicking sound echoing from the bookshelves. He freezes. He looks to the corner. The static consumes the library. The scene shifts. You are the one looking at the screen now. You are the one hearing the clicking. You are the next entry in the Yokai Archives.
Hide. Pray.
They are all here. The Rain Woman, the blind predator.
Your house is silent. All lights go out, one by one. You are not safe. You never were. You were just waiting for the recording to end so the hunt could begin. A pale, skeletal hand rests gently on your shoulder in the dark. Do not move. Look at your reflection. Can you see your face? Or is it already starting to... The lanterns are here. The void has arrived in your room. Your reality has been overwritten.
Lightning strikes. In the flash, you see every corner filled with them.
A blank sits on your desk. Your name appears in Fred ink. Everything you knew is gone.
The archive continues. The hunt never ends. Tomorrow is just another chapter.
We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
Don't look behind you.
Which door will you choose?
Got you.
The barrier is gone. The archive is eternal.
She is waiting for you.
The train is waiting.
It's time to sleep.
Sleep now.
Locked.
Forever.
The end.